Welcome to this week's edition of Sun News at Noon. I'm Stockton Myers.
And I'm Reagan Morris. Thanks for tuning in.
Many students received money from the university last week, but not every student. Why is that? It has to do with the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. This act provides emergency funding for students when the pandemic affects operations on campus. These funds can range mostly between $800 and $1,600. However, this only applies to students who have applied for financial aid or scholarships. Full-time students will most likely receive the largest amount of funds from the university. If you are curious as to how you could receive an aid from the CARES Act, scan the QR code below for more information.
Candidates for student body president and vice president have been campaigning on campus since Monday. Primary voting started yesterday and will end at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Use the QR code to cast your votes. Final campaigns will start Monday and final voting will take place Tuesday through Thursday. Let's get to know the candidates running for office. Here is Editor-in-Chief of the Sun News, Sydney Johnson, to introduce all of the contenders.
These are your 2022-2023 student body candidates.
What's up, y'all? My name is Gus Brown Sugar, and I'm running to be your next student body president as we move forward with the name change and with everything that's going on. We really have set ourselves up to blaze a trail that's never been blazed before here in Utah. We need your voice to be heard. Your opinion matters because you put the you in unity, and together we put the us in Gus.
I'm Devin Rice, and I am running for the Utah Tech University student body president. We need somebody that understands marketing and understands what's going on with this whole name change. I've been involved in it for 2 years now, very heavily. Student body president is very much a middleman to get big projects done, big jobs done, and I know all the people on campus. I've got the relationships already, so I'll be able to dive right in and get going day one.
I'm Amelia Slama-Catron, and I'm running to be your first Utah Tech University student body president. I want to be the face of change as St. George transitions from Dixie State University to Utah Tech University. I think a lot of positive change will come with that, and I'm excited for those opportunities. Being able to combine all those different opportunities and help connect students to resources on campus that'll make them feel welcome and home is just super important. I look forward to those opportunities.
Hi, I'm Katie Sanders, and I am running for student body president. I'm super passionate about this university and the students, and I want to see the best for the students and the university. I think I can bring my experience and my passion and combine them to make a great student body president.
I'm Holly Hurtado, and I'm running for student body president. The biggest part of my campaign is going to be talking to students and figuring out what they need, what they want to see from the school, and just actually getting to know them. I want to help all students feel included and feel safe on campus and help them to know that this is a home for them.
My name is Jose Terral Martinez, and I am running for student body president. My campaign consists of a few things. First is traditions. As we transition from Dixie State to Utah Tech University, I want students to remember the traditions that we've built, start new ones and bring back old ones. And I want to be there so that they know that we can all make Utah Tech University a good school.
I'm Carson Ray, and I'm running for Vice President of Academics.
I want to change the overall culture about academia, because I feel like the biggest thing, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed about tests, this, that, and the other, and I really want to change that. I want it to be more of a better positive attitude.
I'm Leisha Noyes. I'm running for the Vice President of Academics for the 2022-2023 school year. My campaign consists of increasing research and internship opportunities on campus for students, and I'll do that by culturing professor-student relationships and also by going out in the community and finding research and internship opportunities.
What's up, Trailblazers? I am Sean Rios, and I am running for vice presidents in clubs and organizations. My campaign consists of two things. It's focusing on leadership, having the proper leadership so that these clubs can thrive here on campus, and service, having the proper service so that we provide the best tools for the clubs to thrive here on campus.
I'm Fernando Rodas, and I'm running for Vice President of Clubs and Organizations. Being Vice President of Clubs and Organizations, it will allow me to train my team that I will have. Train them effectively to teach them a lot of leadership qualities, the students, and teaching them how to have successful events here at Dixie State University.
For Sun News, I'm Sydney Johnson.
Dixie State University police have been certified an active bystander for law enforcement or ABLE training. They are the first agency in Utah to do so and are one of 200 in the nation to be able certified. This program aims to empower law enforcement to intervene and de-escalate officer-related situations to prevent altercations. To learn more about the ABLE project, scan the QR code below.
Late Professor Glenn Blakely's art is currently on display at the St. George Art Museum until April 30th. To celebrate the exhibit and his memory, I sat down with a colleague and friend of Professor Blakely to find out more about Glenn's legacy. We lost an incredible force at DSU in the form of Glenn Blakely at the end of 2020 due to COVID. However, the legendary art professor lives on through many ways, including the Glenn Blakely exhibit at the St. George Art Museum.
Okay, number one thing, Glenn is a friend, but he's a friend to everybody that I know. They would think Glenn's my best friend, but that's the way it was for everybody.
The exhibit shows some of these connections that Glenn had made through his life. There's even a book where you can write memories of the late Professor Blakely to share his legacy.
I think that anybody that was around Glenn, he was just a friend, but he would, you know, if you start talking about you, you'd feel like you're really special and important, because, you know, he would focus on you. You know, I think one of the last things that I did with Glenn is I had a painting that I wanted to have him give a critique for, and he came to my office. And I said, "Can you do this?" And he said, "Well, I'm kind of going to class." But anyway, he came to my office and talked about my paintings, and he gave a wonderful, wonderful critique. And I really listened to Glenn because he really knew what he was talking about.
And that's saying something, considering Del Parsons is an influential artist in his own right. It just goes to show Glenn's know-how of the arts and his love to show art to the community. He did so through his art trips to Southern California.
But he gave so many people the opportunity to be exposed to some really great art with his art trips. Like, he would take 2 buses, so I think there would be about maybe 40 in each bus. There'd be 80 people, and people from, not just from the university, but also people from the community. And he was just an unbelievable entertainer. He could talk for hours, talking about art, talking about life, and he just made it such a wonderful trip. And then after the trip, we would go to Disneyland, and he was a Disney specialist. He would know the best ways to move through this, through the park, and where to get on the rides the quickest. And nobody could keep up with him, even though he had bad knees. He was just a goer.
And when it all comes down to it, Glenn wasn't just a professor or an artist. He was a comforting face to everyone. And he is very much missed, not just by DSU, but the community he helped build.
All I know is I loved him. I really loved him, and I miss him. I miss him so much. He made you feel like the world's okay. It's an okay place to be here. So his message might just be to bring beauty into the world.
The art exhibit is open now and goes until April 30th, and is, of course, free to see.
People all over the world are taking to social media for information about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. While social media can be a platform to find out what is happening in the world, information is often misconstrued on purpose and on accident. Celebrities and other public figures are tweeting pictures of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in military uniform with the implication that Zelensky is fighting alongside his troops. These photographs were actually taken in December when Zelensky visited Ukraine's frontline military on the Day of Armed Forces in Ukraine. Posts on social media have also revived a photo of a young boy and girl saluting Ukrainian soldiers. This photo traces back to 2016 as part of a collection called Children of War, taken by Ukrainian photographer Dmitry Vorovsky. The disinformation doesn't stop here, as Twitter and Facebook have removed 2 major anti-Ukrainian campaigns that attempt to manipulate narratives about Ukraine. These campaigns are using hacked accounts to spread anti-Ukrainian propaganda, as well as using computer-generated faces to boost the credibility of fake journalists across several platforms. A Twitter spokesperson says the investigation is ongoing, but the accounts did originate in Russia and were attempting to disrupt the public conversation around the ongoing conflict.
A voting bill that would get rid of mail-in ballots is making its way through the Utah State Legislature. House Bill 371 would see mail-in ballots removed in favor of in-person voting as the default for Utah's elections. The bill would also increase election day costs by almost 300%. This has been met with opposition from the public, with many signing a petition to keep mail-in ballots.
Zion National Park is climbing the ranks, going from the third most popular national park to the second. Zion broke its own record with 5 million visitors recorded in 2021, being only the fourth national park to achieve that number. The large crowds in Zion have caused the park problems such as increased trash, wear and tear on the trails. A variety of solutions have been implemented, such as ticketing for popular attractions and establishing capacity for all areas of the park. The Associate Director for the Southwest region of the NPCA, Corey McNulty, says that it's no surprise that the beauty of Zion National Park continues to draw record-breaking numbers of visitors. But we are past the tipping point where overcrowding, understaffing is affecting people's park trips with seemingly endless traffic, crowded trails, and long lines. Wow, it's intense. And with spring break coming up, you know it's just going to get crazier. And I was even hoping to go to Zion, so I don't know, with those numbers, it's going to be crazy and it's going to be busy, especially with spring rolling around.
St. George is always busy during spring break, but having those numbers as high as they are right now, I think we might see like the busiest spring break for Zions, at least here in Utah.
For sure, but we got to take pride in it, you know? Southern Utah, that's us, and we're breaking those numbers.
Yeah, gotta love those red hills.
It's awesome.
Stay tuned after the break. We'll hear from Max about DSU athletics.
Hey there, Trailblazers. I hope you're enjoying these fine tunes on this afternoon. We're at the top of our hour and we have more music on the way, so stay tuned.
If the character is moving too fast for their stride,
Welcome back, Trailblazers. Here's the rundown on DSU athletics. In what has been a roller coaster of a ride for the Trailblazers, each time they played in the Burns Arena, they faced down their last two home opponents of the year. The first game was played against California Baptist, who DSU beat earlier in the schedule for what was their first conference win of the year. The second game brought senior night with it, as the Trailblazers celebrated Hunter Schofield and Mark Hatch before the game. Having already played the WAC's second best team in Seattle U once, DSU looked not only to avenge an early conference loss, but send their seniors out on a good note. In that game, Hunter Schofield was able to finish with 14 points, even in a loss, which made him the third all-time leading scorer in Dixie State history. Isaiah Pope was able to come off the bench and contribute 14 points for the Trailblazers. But Seattle U was a little too tough at home this time. And again, with their record, they are the second best team in conference. Isaiah Pope hits a tough jumper to keep the Trailblazers in it. Cam Gooden, the athletic point guard, doing what he does best. And again, Hunter Schofield, what a player, what a person. Third all-time leading scorer in DSU history. And I think that really overshadowed the loss that DSU took that night. They also lost to the Lancers in that first game as well against California Baptist. But Hunter Schofield finished with 26 points, having 19 of them in the second half, but it just wasn't enough for the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers will play tonight on the road against Abilene Christian and Saturday at Grand Canyon to finish the year. Women's basketball played two tough ones on the road, their first being against the Lancers of CBU. The Lady Trailblazers looked to compete with a top 3 team in the WAC, and compete they did. DSU turned some heads in the WAC as they pulled out a win 81-77. Emily Isaacson led the way with 21 points, while Shanaza Davidson had a near double-double with 19 points and 9 rebounds. Let's look at how impressive this win actually was. If you take a look, the Lancers and the Trailblazers have almost identically swapped records. The Blazers at 5-10 in the WAC, the Lancers at 10-5 in the WAC. And the Lancers' best player, Ane Oleata, had 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists and 4 rebounds in the game the Lancers won earlier in the year by 18 points. In the loss they had this last week, she had 28 points. So the Lancers' best player still got what she wanted, but the Trailblazers were able to squeak out a win on the road. Very impressive. The second game for the women took them up to Washington to face Seattle U, an opponent who they had already beaten at home this season. But as we've seen, it's very hard to beat a team twice in one season, especially in conference. The Lady Trailblazers fought hard, but ultimately fell short as they suffered a 61-69 loss. Davison put in another 19-point performance, while Brianna Gillen flirted with a triple-double as she finished with 11 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. DSU will play the season finale at 3 p.m. on Saturday at home against Grand Canyon. Women's swimming joined the rest of the conference down in Houston as they competed in the WAC championships. The Lady Trailblazers finished in 7th place overall, while Northern Arizona captured their 9th straight WAC title. DSU was able to medal in a race while also breaking 5 school records on the final day of the meet. Skylar Lyon won silver in the 200-yard breaststroke in a record-breaking performance. Allie Boynton broke the 200-yard backstroke record. Kylie Sutherland, Katherine Carter, Mandy Farnham, Akalia Bostock set the 400-yard free relay record. Bostock also had the fastest 100-yard split in school history, and Elena Otterstrom set a new mark in the 200-yard fly. Congratulations, ladies. This last week, I had the chance to catch up with head men's basketball coach John Judkins. Not only did we talk about the great overtime win they had against UVU, but also just talked about the season overall, how they've overachieved, and some players who you might recognize. All right, Coach, let's jump right into it. Right, let's start with just your season as a whole. Right, you guys were projected 12 out of 13 teams in the WAC in the preseason. Right, you guys are currently in 9th place. You've had wins over Grand Canyon, who's now 5th in the conference, UVU, who's just 2 spots ahead of you at 7, and you've also had a good win over SUU, who's currently in 3rd place in the Big Sky Conference. And you've also played the #1 team in the conference, New Mexico State, really tough in both the games you've matched up against them. So, in your opinion, what is the biggest reason for your success after those preseason polls came out, and why have you been able to prove a lot of people wrong and surprise a lot of people in the WAC conference?
Well, we saw that preseason rankings, and they had us 12 out of 13. We were like, wow, I guess they don't respect us very much. But again, we're new. A lot of guys don't know who we are. I had a hard time voting for that as well because I didn't know, the Stephen F. Austins. I didn't know the Sam Houston State. I've never seen them play. I've seen them on TV once in a while with the NCAA tournament. But so all these new teams, I think a lot of people didn't know who we were and what our facilities and our town and what we're trying to accomplish. And we're taking those baby steps, as we know, going to this Division I rank. So I get that, but it made kind of put a little kick in us, like, wow, they're thinking that we're not going to be that good. So it got us a little fired up to play. We know we can play with them. Again, to me, it's not how it looks when you start. It's kind of how you end. And we've always been that way. We've always kind of had a slow start, and our guys take a little while to get going. And now we're playing some of the best basketball we've played all year long.
Yes, you are. I've been to a lot of the games, and you really have your guys focused and ready to go, and it's great to see for our program and as we go into the future. Talk to me a little bit about Cam Gooden and Hunter Schofield, right? Cam Gooden, a really athletic point guard for you and your squad. He's able to do a lot of different things for you guys when it comes to, he's not just a scoring point guard. Usually the athletic guys, they're able to score, not do much else, but when he's not scoring, he's able to get a lot of assists, play really good defense, and kind of just lead your team from that standpoint.
Yeah, well, we got Cam kind of late. Last year, I thought he had a really good year for his first year. A guy, when you get a new guy in like that, it takes a little while. Like Denzel's kind of going through that. He's finally playing where I think we wanted to play. But it takes a little while to get used to me and to get used to the style of play and different things that we do. And Cam last year I thought had a really good year. This year we started off playing him a little bit of a little bit more too, as well as scoring, like you said. But then we've probably brought him back to the point more, and he's been playing really well as late. He's shooting the ball on the outside better now than he was early in the year, and so now teams have to get out and guard him, and then it just gives him that athleticism to go by guys, because that's where he's, I think, his best, is when he can get to the rim. But he's had a really solid year for us. He's just been a guy that's fun to coach. He understands the game very well. He's been brought up with the JCs is where he's played. He understands that well. And then Hunter Schofield, like you said, another great player that we got from the JUCO ranks to come in and play, and to see his development, his game has been incredible. I wish I had him for another year. This is his last year. Cam, we can get back. We get him back next year. But Hunter's done. You know, he's graduated. He'll move on, and he's having twins in the summer. Him and his wife are expecting.
Wow.
So he's got a lot of things ahead of him he's going to do. But those two guys have been kind of our guys. When they go, we go, and we're definitely going to miss Hunter. But to see him improve his shooting on his perimeter, he couldn't do that when he first got it. He was more of a 15, 16-foot jumper. Now he's shooting threes. Almost one of our best three-point shooters.
Yeah, on our show every week, I think I talk about Hunter Schofield. I mean, it's almost monotonous. He's a machine, very consistent. He's kind of like the engine that makes you guys go, in my opinion. And you know, he's again, when he's able to have great games, you know, double-doubles, scores in double figures, you guys do really well. The times he's been held to only single digits, you guys haven't done as well.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like the way Hunter goes throughout the game. If you feed him early, get him going, that's kind of the way your team goes as well. Well, thank you, Coach, for being with us today. Really appreciate you taking time out of your super busy schedule. And thank you for getting this program and this community excited about Dixie State basketball or Utah Tech basketball coming into the future.
Coming in the future, it's good. Well, we appreciate everybody coming. I mean, it's fun. We know we got to take these little baby steps, but we're getting there. And if we can continue to pack the burns like we're doing, and I think everybody was there. You know, they love the game, and it's fun. Our guys play extremely hard, and it's a fun entertainment. And appreciate everybody and their support and what they're doing. It's been fun.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trailblazers. That was a great time I had with Coach Judkins, being able to interview him, kind of talk with him. And again, it'll be really interesting to see what kind of presence Utah Tech will have coming into the future, and what a great atmosphere it's been for the basketball season thus far for both the men's and the women's in the Burns Arena.
For sure. I mean, the transition going from D2 to D1 is just incredibly huge, and it can be really hard and tough on teams. And I just think Coach Judkins and the entire DSU basketball has just been doing a really good job of it. So kudos to them.
You can really tell how much he loves his athletes and just how much he loves his job. It's so great to see him talk shop. But you know what? I think we're forgetting something.
I think you're right.
Hang on. Oh, there we go. All right.
Let me just put that right in there. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
It is Reagan Morse's birthday today, so we just want to wish her an absolutely wonderful birthday.
Thank you so much. This is so sweet. Flowers, a girl's favorite thing. How'd you know?
Sadly, I didn't pick them.
Oh,
it was our
okay.
producer, Carly, who picked them.
Thank you,
she's
Carly.
Far smarter than I am.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Reagan, you're wonderful, you're sassy, you're beautiful, and wonderful to talk to. So happy birthday.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, Reagan, it is wonderful to work with you. It's an honor and a privilege for us every single week to sit on this set and talk back and forth and hear your great news stories. And so thank you for contributing so much to our show.
Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome.
We love you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week's edition of Sun News at Noon.
Have a great week, Trailblazers.